after your fashion. What I know is that had they succeeded, you see, you were blaming January coup for not taking place at Enugu, and yet you didn't blame the July coup for not succeeding at Enugu.
The difference is that the January coup failed, the July coup did not fail.
Exactly. If January coup had failed, I wouldn't be sitting here answering questions. You would have made me Major General or something.
Now, do you believe that Igbos are being marginalized?
Of course Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They are so friendly and they are involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you appraise marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual. Let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my Lord.
Every individual,
my Lord, I want you to answer my
struggles
question.
on his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best Nigerians. They are everywhere. They are true Nigerians.
You should have waited for my question.
No, but I must preempt even your question. You see, Igbos, if you are talking about marginalization, it isn't in terms of Igbos individually working as individuals.
In what context is the marginalization?
Exactly. For instance, the question of appointments, the question of things that belong to us in general, in fact, even the question of depriving Igbos of their rights. This is marginalization.
Now, you said in the Ohaneze petition that Igbos are only 1 out of 400 ethnic groups in this country. You agree?
Could you please restrict yourself to the statements I made?
You are supposed to answer my questions. If you don't know, say you don't know.
Uche Chukwumereji has answered that kind of question. I am dealing with January coup, and that Ohaneze has partitioned everything. My compartment is January coup 66.
My friend, you are here as the witness of the commission, and it is my right to ask you questions, and you have an obligation to answer them. If you don't know how to answer, say you don't know.
The truth is that you said that I falsified history. I want to know where in my statement, it is in your letter. I want to know where in my statement I falsified history.
I said it is in the record of Ohaneze, and you are their witness. And you agree with me that Ohaneze are complaining of marginalization?
Of course.
Now, do you agree with what Ohaneze said?
I agree that Ohaneze is right in saying that Igbos are marginalized.
And they are also right in saying that there are over 400 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
There are too many, even more than 400 if you like.
And you also agree with what they said, that the Igbos constitute about 16% of the population of this country.
I would have said actually 25%.
Okay. Now, do you have any statistics to show that the Igbos in appointments do not have up to 25% in the federal service? Do you have any statistics?
My
If
Lord,
you don't have, say you don't have.
Let me answer it. Don't rush me. How can you have statistics when we don't have true census figures in Nigeria?
I'm not talking
How
of.
can you? You are talking about statistics. Let us have census figures first.
Because we don't have census figures, then we don't have statistics.
Then you are imagining
appointments in federal.
A lot of people are dreaming dreams in this country. Some people put the population of this Nigeria at 120 million. Some said 100. Some said 100. When are we going to have our figures? True figures.
Please answer my question. We're talking about appointments. You said you are being marginalized in appointments. Do you have any statistics to show that you do not have up to 25%?
Ohaneze can supply that, and I believe that Ohaneze has supplied that.
They have not supplied it.
Well, you go to Ohaneze to supply it. No. Let me go on what I know.
Now, military regimes, just like the one you wanted to bring in, come on their own. And when they rule as military regimes.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
If you like, I name your military regimes that use civilians to get on with rulership or governance.
Just like civilians use you in 66. there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without civilians.
Fair enough.
Ruled without civilians.
Good. I'm happy you are confirming it. That's what I said.
Yes. And there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without representation from across this country.
We never ruled Nigeria.
No, I'm not talking.
We of January 66 never ruled Nigeria. So you are not in a position to know who should have been in the government if we actually wanted to rule Nigeria. Okay.
Now, in 1966, 60% of the officers of the Nigerian army were Igbos.
60% of the officer corps
were Igbos.
That is, in fact, an estimate, yes.
Yes. And at that time, from your evidence and your book, one of the things worrying the Igbo officers was that there was the Nigerianization of the army, and some people were insisting on quota.
You know, I took advantage of Nigerianization of the army. So I could not condemn Nigerianization of the army.
No, I'm not saying you.
What we took exception from was the question of anybody in trousers becoming an officer. That's what we took exception from.
Okay. Now, when you left the army as a captain.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I didn't leave the army. I was bundled into prison.
Okay, and then from there dismissed or retired?
Up till tomorrow, we were not tried, so I don't know whether it's dismissed or retired.
And all this is because you were involved in the January 66.
Exactly.
General Enjuma.
And as I told you, even Gawan did not try us.
Yes.
Rather, he gave one of us, our leader, he gave our leader a military burial and gave him full military honors whilst he detained us. And you could kill Ironsi for not trying us. And he left that gentleman for not trying us either.
Now, at the time you planned the coup, or you were planning the coup, you knew that if the coup failed, your career in the army is finished.
Fantastic, you are right.
Then
I knew.
Yes. Then why were you complaining that some of your mates were major generals?
You see, the trouble is that
they didn't plan a coup. They were good Nigerians. That's why they became major generals.
A lot of them became major generals because of coups.
Successful
and in fact,
coups.
they promoted themselves. You should have known that. Why are you laughing? You should have known that. They promoted themselves. That's why other countries laugh at us. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead, Mr. Gbulie. Mr. Gbulie, now in your book, you tried to state the reasons why you people gathered to organize the coup.
You're right.
Now, thinking back now, do you still regard those reasons as valid?
Very.
Listen, for a military takeover instead of a democratic change of government. You understand the question?
The reasons were as valid then as they are valid today. The killings in the West and the killings in TV area prompted, in fact, an action from us. And there were other reasons. Now, other reasons, they're all enumerated in the book I had tendered.
Now, you use the rank colonel now because you are promoted in the Biafran army.
Beautiful.
And
I prefer it.
And Ojukwu also promoted himself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. When he comes, you'll ask him.
Now, from certain publications we read, credited to you, you were not in very good terms with Ojukwu.
I am happy you said this.
Yes.
In other words, I have my own views on every issue. I am happy you said this.
Yes.
Because I fought the war on the Biafran side. I criticized Ojukwu for taking certain measures. And I'm happy you have my book there, The Fall of Biafra. I have my own views. Just as I had my own views in Nigeria when I was an army officer. And my views tallied with some views by other people.
Now, do you know that like I said earlier, in every corner of this country, there are Igbos living peacefully with other Nigerians.
Living peacefully?
Yes, with other Nigerians.
Well, there are Igbos, correct, but living peacefully, I don't know. Because they are being murdered at every turn. They are being slaughtered at every turn. Anytime there was any riot, they are slaughtered. And you should have known that too.
Are you speaking on facts or on what you read on the pages of newspapers?
Well, all I can tell you is that there's even a case here.
There are Igbos across northern Nigeria.
And probably Akaloka is living happily, isn't he? Probably.
Do you know what Akaluka did? You brought the issue. Do you know what Akaluka did? Do you know the facts?
Whatever he did.
Listen, do you know the facts?
Whatever he did, he should have been subjected to the rule of law.
Listen, do you know the facts?
The rule of law should have applied.
Do you know the facts about Akaluka?
You said that I listened to the radio and I read the papers.
Look,
I read the papers.
Oh, so
all I know is that he is not alive today to even deny what he's been said to have done.
Do you know that as a result of Akaluka, 20 House of people were killed?
That is what you said. We have not been told this. Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land to explain the Akaluka issue? Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land?
You are not supposed to ask me questions. You have to answer my questions.
I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry, my lord.
Okay.
All I can tell you is that you are begging the question with regard to Akaluka because he's not around. He's dead already. Now,
in your book, you warned Nzegu that because, listen now, that because of the number of Igbo officers organizing the January 66 coup, it could be misunderstood as an Igbo coup.
Number one.
Did you warn him, please?
I didn't warn Nzegu. There was no Nzegu. That's number one. Number two.
I'm not an Igbo man. I may not know how to
you must try and pronounce the words properly. Number two, I didn't warn Nzogu. If you read my book, I was discussing with Onwatuegu.
With whoever you are discussing, you warned. Did you warn?
Now, let me explain that.
Listen to the question first.
I have listened to the question. I leap ahead. Now,
no, listen, my friend, listen. I call you here to ask you questions.
All right. Sir.
And this is a court of law. This is not a military barrack, please. Now, what you said in the book is that people may understand that coup as an Igbo coup because over 90% of those planning the coup were Igbos. Is that correct?
That is not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said that people might take this to be an Igbo coup. Why? But I didn't say 90% was not there.
Why did you say so?
There was no 90%.
Why did you say people might?
I asked Onwatuegu who and who are in this. He named certain people. Although he named Ademoyega too, I felt that the Nigerian public, being tribalistic, would deem this as an Igbo coup. I said so. But that is what is called value judgment.
Okay.
In other words, not taking into consideration the facts. Now, if you read that thing down, you would have seen where he said, oh, but we are releasing Awolowo. Do you know what I said? In other words, the Yorubas are using us. You failed to read that one. You read about the thing being an Igbo coup.
I'm interested in the issue raised by Ohaneze in your petition, that it was wrong for anybody to assume it was an Igbo coup.
It is wrong till tomorrow for anybody to assume that it's an Igbo coup. When that person would have committed what is called value judgment, a judgment not based on facts. That was what I meant.
When you killed all the northern and Yoruba political and military leaders and you didn't kill your own?
What about Colonel Unegbe? And by the way, let me also explain. Colonel Unegbe was killed in Lagos.
Why?
Not because he did not hand over any key. I am happy that IBM Haruna, a soldier, is here. He knows that no quartermaster general holds a key to anything armory.
Why was he killed?
He knows he was killed. It's in my book, which I tendered. He was killed because he was accused of making money from his job. In other words, he was a quartermaster general. He was making money from his job. So he was enriching himself. That was why he was killed.
So he was not.
So I want to correct this mistake.
So he was not a victim of that attempted coup.
He was killed.
No, listen. Brigadier Mamalari Kur Muhammad and the rest were killed as part of the coup. This one was killed because he was making money. So he was not killed as part of the execution of that coup. Is that what you're saying?
My Lord, there were various reasons why the coup took place.
Okay.
There were various, in fact, Hydra-headed reasons why the coup took place. Some people enriched themselves and they were killed. Some people were involved in the killings in the West and the TV area, and they were killed. Some people did a lot of other unsavory things. By the way, they talk about killing, and I'm repeating what I said at Enugu. It was never decided that anybody should be killed.
Now, why was
people disagreed on what should happen? I don't know how many coups you've taken part in, but it is never decided this man must be killed, that person will be killed. But you depend on what you see on the ground.
So if there was opportunity to kill, you kill. What do you mean by you depend on what you see on the ground?
These are soldiers, you know. Depending, for instance, if you are fired at, you fire back. All right? It's as simple as that. And I gave an example of somebody who wasn't killed. He was.
Do you know why Sardauna was killed along with his wife?
Do you know it's in the book?
Simple.
Why must I
I told you we need your evidence here.
But the commission here has read my book. If they have not read my book, they probably are reading it now.
Nigerians want to hear what you will say of the reason behind killing Sardauna and his wife.
You talk about killing again. I was not in someone who went to the house. Even though, I must tell you this, I take full responsibility for the coup of January 66 because it was a collective responsibility.
Very good. Okay, are you aware of the reason from your coup plotters why Sardauna was murdered with his wife?
If you don't know the reason by now, then I'm afraid you should go and find out.
My Lord,
it's all in my book.
My Lord, the witness should be told that he's supposed to answer my question.
You are whipping up emotions. I don't want to get involved in that.
Answer a simple question simply. It will make us progress. And then when counsel is asking, you have no right to retort.
All right, sir.
Thank you, my Lord.
Sorry, my Lord.
Now, you said there were always reasons why they killed. Why was, if you know, Sardauna killed along with his wife?
Nzogu attacked Sardauna's residence. Nzogu, if you read the script, was attacked himself.
And that was why they had to kill him.
Nzogu returned fire. Nzogu, if he were alive but he's dead, would have told you exactly why he did what he did. What we wanted to do was to overthrow the government of Nigeria. To overthrow the government and stop madness.
And overthrowing the government means suspending the government of northern Nigeria, leaving the government of western Nigeria,
you see,
and then deliberately refusing to arrest Ironsi.
Let me elucidate this matter. It is true that Akintola was killed in the West. And then Fani Kayode was arrested and taken to Lagos. That is the RV, rendezvous. Now, when the soldiers got to Lagos, they found that Ironsi's troops had already seized Lagos. And so they ran helter-skelter. And as you well know, some people ran to Ghana, some ran to other places. And therefore, there was no time to declare anything in the West. You should have known that.
And there was no time to arrest or kill Okpara in the East.
Again, we talked about Okpara having been receiving somebody from abroad, a head of state from Cyprus. Macarius, Archbishop Macarius.
You gave that a
and he was arrested as soon as, and by the way, one of you was the one who took over the radio station. Even though he's dead again and he can't say his own mind. Now
listen,
it was Jallo who took over the station.
My friend, we're not here for stories.
What I'm trying to tell you is
restrict yourself to my answers to my questions, please. Now, you gave consideration to the fact that Okpara was expecting a guest.
Not expecting, he had a guest.
Yes, he had a guest.
Listen
now, listen.
Airport, he was arrested.
Listen to the question. Now, in some of the books written by some of your coup plotters, you had to wait for Sir Ahmad Bello to return from Lesser Hajj to execute the coup.
I wrote that in my book.
Yes. Why did you do that?
And
If the intention was not to deliberately kill him.
It is the truth. If you did not wait for him to return, he might bring in troops from abroad, particularly from Saudi Arabia or from any of the Islamic countries.
Why didn't you wait for Dr. Azikwe to come back?
I haven't even thought about Azikiwe because, you see, he was so innocuous that, in fact, as far as we were concerned, he was not endangering anybody.
He was not because he is Igbo?
No, not at all.
Why?
There were others who were not Igbos, who were not endangering anyone. What about Awolowo? Was he killed?
Now listen, recently, you know Chief Ajuluchukwu?
I know Chief Ajuluchukwu is my brother.
Yes.
Yes.
He recently gave an interview.
Yes.
And he said Dr. Azikwe was aware of the coup and that was why he left the country. Are you aware of that? Simple.
Say that again, please.
That Dr. Azikwe was aware of the planned coup and that was why he ran out of the country.
If Ajuluchukwu said that,
it's not the issue. Whether you two are aware, that's the question.
No. You don't put words into anybody's mouth. If Ajuluchukwu said that, he is entitled to his own views altogether.
I want to hear your own view. I want to hear your own view.
But I'll be surprised, in fact shocked, if Ajuluchukwu ever said that.
He did.
All the same, I said I will be shocked because you people are prone to, putting words into people's mouths. Now, the thing is this. With regard to Zik knowing or not knowing, we were anti-Zik. If you recall that Nzogo talked to Sakashim Ibrahim, he said these people like Azik, we were an Okpara and others we were looking for. If you recall, and it's written down in black and white in your own books.
That is not the question. The question is simple. Are you aware that Zik knew about the coup and that was why
How
he
could I know that Zik knew about the coup? I was at Kaduna.
I
was resident at Kaduna.
How did you know that they killed Tafawa Balewa in Lagos?
Say again.
How did you know they killed and they could not arrest Iran?
From the radio.
Why didn't you hear this from the radio? You were part and parcel of the coup plotters. You know all those who sponsored you and you know those you dealt with.
My lord, no coup plotter. My lord, no coup plotter is ubiquitous. He is not everywhere.
You were aware that during the period you were planning the coup, there was Commonwealth Conference holding on in Lagos.
Of course, I know. And even when it came to a close.
And yet you killed Tafawa Balewa, you killed Brigadier Maimalari.
He wasn't killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference.
You waited for them to go first.
They were not killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference.
Okay.
Let me put this to you, that
Okpara
would have been killed.
Listen,
if
you have no right to put anything to me, please.
It will take another 4 years
Yes.
before you start putting it to him.
Yes.
You got to go
My
to
lord,
law
I should
school
have
first.
read law. All right, let me expatiate.
I don't want to hear it. You are aware that Brigadier Maimalari was killed on his party's wedding day, the day he was organizing a party for his wedding.
I heard he was killed and I wept.
Very good.
Because this is where I said everybody didn't agree about killing anybody.
Okay.
They had disagreements. So people were allowed to use their initiative. What you see on the ground is what matters. I wept because he was my mentor. He was captain when I was an officer cadet.
Now, were you told why Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was killed, was murdered, and his body thrown in the bush?
I was even told that he wasn't killed. I don't know. What about you are talking about killing?
Yes, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, you were told he was.
I know that when some people went to Abeokuta to get armored vehicle and they couldn't, they came back and found Ironsi's troops all over the place and ran away. Those who had the prime minister, I'm told, dumped him in a bush. How they dumped him in a bush, I wasn't told.
No, as one of the coup plotters, did you hear the reason why he was killed?
If you read my book, you see it was zoned. I was in the north. I was at Kaduna.
Please answer my question. Did you hear why he was killed?
I wasn't told.
Was there any justification given for killing him? Or for murdering him?
Are you saying by hindsight or then?
By the coup plotters.
Well, you see, people were being killed everywhere, particularly in the West. And so, if I may sound charitable, well, not uncharitable, if he was party to other killings, then if he was killed, it's one of those things.
Now, since you are based in the north,
Yes.
you must have heard that immediately after Sardana was killed, or maybe a few weeks after, there was this picture being circulated in markets and streets of Nzegu and Samad Bello, which some northerners regarded as very provocative.
I am happy you mentioned this.
Yes.
I was thrown into Kirikiri. Taken down.
When?
From in fact, about within the first week of the coup, I was thrown into Kirikiri with others. Now, I am given to understand much later that it was because Nelson Atta Publishing Drum did something in respect of publicizing Sir Ahmad Bello. All right? No sane person would like that.
Thank you very much.
But why is it that the same Nelson Atta, during the war, you took him to work for you? You didn't kill him, but you killed the women in the marketplace. Why did you do that?
My friend, listen. I'm happy that you agreed that when Nelson Atta published it, people naturally overreacted.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
But
that's all for him.
Why did you not kill Nelson Atta?
That's all right from me. Thank you.
Why did you not kill Nelson Atta?
Yes, witness. If I call you Captain Gbulie, will you answer?
Anything.
Let me, wait a minute.
Anything is okay.
Wait a minute. I will not allow a situation where it's a free-for-all fight. You listen to my question, I listen to your answer. Please restrict yourself so that we can make progress. If I call you Captain Gbulie, will you answer?
If you call me anything, I will answer. Do you know why?
Just wait a minute.
Okay.
You have answered my question. I am not asking for the reasons. Now, probably cleverly, this book you wrote, a copy of which is before the commission as an exhibit. I'm also happy you came along with so many. I picked one outside.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful for that. This is my personal copy. Yes. Now,
it's okay.
Yes, I bought it at 500 naira.
It's very cheap.
Witness, Exhibit 8 before the commission. Now, I tried as much as possible to read the entirety of this book.
Beautiful.
And I did not see any portion of it where you called yourself Colonel Gbulie.
Why should I?
Wait a minute. I've not asked you a question.
All of them.
Wait a minute. Similarly, I wasn't at Enugu, but I have the cassette of the sittings in Enugu, and I have the certified true copy of the transcript. You never introduced yourself as Colonel Gbulie. You came into the witness box and said you are Ben Gbulie.
Beautiful. That's what I normally do.
But whenever questions are thrown to you as Colonel Gbulie, you will answer.
I will answer because you are the one committing the offense.
Now, witness.
I never
Witness. By these indices, listen to me. I have not asked you any question. I asked you only your name and you answered. So I have not asked you. Listen to the preamble before the question. So by these indices, you are agreeing that you are not colonel and that you did not deserve to be a colonel. I will lead you to.
I deserve to be a general.
Let's go to that. When did you join the Nigerian army?
I joined in 1960. 1960, March.
Yes. You are over 60 now, by age.
Of course, 62.
Yes. You were in Kaduna at the time of the coup.
Yes.
The 15th January 1966 coup, you said so. And that is not in dispute.
I've said so already.
Now, you were only a captain at that time.
Substantive, yes.
Yes. And you will agree with me, even then and as well as nowadays, it takes an average of 3 years for one to get promoted from one rank to the other in the Nigerian army. An average, some 2 years, some 4 years, an average, I'm talking of average. As a captain, probably for one to become the next rank after being a captain is to be a major.
Are you talking about now or then?
Even then.
Even then?
Yes.
Some people had accelerated.
Look, I have a retired general near me.
I am very happy you is here.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Now, you were only a captain at that time.
Yes, and he was major.
Yes, I agreed. Now, the next rank after being a captain was major.
Beautiful.
Thereafter, lieutenant colonel and colonel. Now, after the coup, you were arrested, detained, and unlawfully released.
Unlawfully released?
Yes.
I was released prior to the declaration of Biafra.
Yes, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. You were unlawfully
Nigeria, please. Nigeria.
Wait a minute, who released you?
Ojukwu released us.
Oh, okay, Ojukwu released you.
Yes.
Equally an Igbo man.
Of course.
Okay.
He couldn't
now,
have been a Hausa man releasing me at Enugu.
Wait a minute. Now, you were again arrested and detained for about 5 years from, I think, 69 to 74. You were released in 74.
The war did not end 69.
Okay, you were arrested.
Okay. Correct.
You were kept
from 1970 to 74, October.
About 4 years. Now
5 years.
You said 72 to 74.
70, 71,
okay,
72,
including 70.
74.
About 5
years.
Yes, about 5 years. Now, Gbulie.
Sir. Yes, go ahead.
Look, I would like to extract from you. You call yourself a colonel.
What?
A colonel. You call yourself a colonel.
I don't call myself a colonel. I'm addressed as a colonel. I was gazetted as a colonel. I was treated as a colonel.
No, so you are not.
In fact, I love to be called colonel, but I prefer to be called general.
It appears. Listen to me, witness. Let's make progress. We're not here for jokes aside. Now, if you agree with me that you are not a colonel, then that narrows down the controversy between you and
the Nigerian army has never promoted me to the rank of colonel.
Thank you.
Never.
Thank you for that. What about the Biafran army? Were you made a colonel?
Of course. I told you, I've said it before.
So you joined the Biafran army when?
I was released
You joined the Biafran
in 1967. I didn't join Biafran army. I was from Nigeria. Once Ojukwu released us from Nigeria, we automatically belong to the 4th Area Command.
Now listen.
Of the Nigerian army.
Listen.
So when Biafra went, we went with Biafra.
Listen, can I get you well? Please, are you telling this Honorable Commission that the conferment of the rank of a colonel on you was honorary by the Biafran army? That you did not deserve what, honorary? Is that what you are saying?
What do you mean by honorary?
In other words, you did not merit it. Was just given to you.
So honorary means not with merit.
No, listen to me. I am asking you. You are telling me
I was promoted to that rank by the Biafran authorities.
You joined the Biafran army at what rank? At what rank?
I joined the Biafran army as Captain Gbulie.
And within a period of how many years?
This is wartime, you know.
Within what period of years were you? You were promoted to
the war lasted 30 months. 30 long months.
Within 30 months, you were promoted.
There were those who were promoted faster.
It's all right.
And I was a wounded soldier.
Now, Mr. Gbulie, the entire nation, and indeed most Nigerians, particularly the younger ones like ourselves, are happy to have you before this.
Thank you very much.
This one. Okay. Yes, the entire nation. Yes.
He will tell you that something called field commission.
My lord?
Isn't it?
What?
General. Something called field commission.
Yes, there is
exactly.
Field commission.
I didn't have.
I was in the army. You were not.
Maybe as field promotion.
I did not have field commission.